not too long ago. In 2014, I got a job for a construction company. It was my first big job. It was a Grand Central job. There's plenty of people on my Instagram who know me, who know also that I worked there, and it was one of the most biggest moments of my life career wise. I was an engineer there, a civil engineer, and I was a field engineer, and it was great. It was the first time I got such an opportunity. It was like a dream come true. Like seriously, and it really like changed my whole life perspective. I um, I went into it. I was a assistant engineer starting off, and then slowly but surely I became a field engineer over some time, and I started dedicating time. And I remember opportunity presented itself where I could become a super, because I always wanted to be a superintendent on the job. Because like you have field engineers and you have the superintendent who's kind of like right above the field engineer. They're not their boss, but they hold way more leverage on the job site when it comes to a specific area. And it was interesting. I didn't think much about it. I just knew I wanted to become a super, you know? I didn't think about the responsibilities, the people I had to take care of, make sure that everyone got what they needed, the material, deal with their nonsense and all that stuff. So, it was something I really wanted. So I was like, why not? Why not work? Why not work towards getting to where I want to be? You know, that's what I want. If I become a superintendent, then one day I'll become a consultant. I had the whole 9 yards planned out until, things started happening. So eventually I became a superintendent. Unfortunately, the general superintendent passed away on the job site. Really a great guy. I used to really, really admire. And I'm sure the people watching this video, they know who I'm talking about, because there are some people on my Instagram who did work with me on that job. Um, and it was an opportunity like no other. Like people used to like know that I was an engineer and they were friends with me, obviously. And then there were people who were friends with me because I was working on this job. Let's just say most of those people aren't around me anymore. But the whole reason why I'm saying this is because like it was a big thing, a big step in my life. Like you have to imagine, like I worked my whole life to get an opportunity like this. Like it was something that I drastically wanted. And it really hurt. Like how like, I put a lot of work in, and I was not getting paid as much as I should have. Like, I was absorbing so much information. Like I have the ability to just take in so much knowledge, especially when it's something I'm passionate about. Like anyone else, like take in, and then like, you're passionate. You're just so driven by it. And it was great. I was working on a tunnel. This thing is a $270 million job. Like it's like wow. Like, and I'm working on it. I'm 24 years old, and I was making good money at the time. Like life was like wow. Like yo, God's really like putting out the story for me. He's really laying out the foundations for me right now. This is it. Like this is my opportunity in life. I really need to grab this by the teeth. And my mom used to be like, Muhammad, you gotta put in the time. She's like, you gotta work an extra hour, every day. Let them like you so much. Let them know your value. Do this, so you could do it. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna sacrifice, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, if someone needs help, I'm here. I'm the guy. Who needs help? Like, who needs this? Who needs that? I could help you. I got my work done. I could help you guys out, because like I had that work ethic. I started working when I was 11 years old. So thank God I had some good work ethic. So I was ready for the role. Um, and it was great. And I would usually make my reports, and I would spend 2 to 3 hours, not joking with you, 2 to 3 hours at 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. finishing up a report, just so I can make sure that people coming in the next morning knew what they were getting themselves into. Because I used to work night shift also. I used to work swing shift, they called it. And I was from 3 to 10 or 3 to 11, I believe. I don't remember. And I used to come in an hour and a half early. So I used to come in by 11:30, 1:30. I used to leave my house at 11:30 every day, and I'd get home by 11 or 12. I would sleep at 1:30. I would wake up at like 9 or 10, and then I'll go back to work. So I usually had 2 hours in my life, personal life. It was horrible. It was. I hated my life. I didn't even. There was a. That's when I started not liking what I was doing, because I was becoming a workaholic at that time. I was just so into it. I was so driven by the concept that, if I put enough work in, I'm gonna get forward. I wasn't even hanging out with people. All my close friends, they wouldn't even see my face because I was just so invested in what I was doing. I was so invested in it. Like people were like, yo man, like stop working. And I'll be like, I'm like, no. Like, why do you want me not to work? Like, why? Because you think I'm moving up in life? Oh, so you want me to be like you, right? And like those were the thoughts that were going on in my mind. I was like, I'm moving up. I'm gonna get somewhere. I'm just gonna get there faster. I'm putting in the time. But the unfortunate part, I didn't know what my value was as a human, as a core human being. What is Muhammad's value in society as a whole? Like, to the fact that I can have a personal life. What am I in a rush to get to? Where am I rushing to? Where am I rushing to? That was the question. But either way, it was very intense. When you work in construction, it's a very lucrative business. They say it's just as lucrative as working as a drug dealer. The amount of money that you see there is insane. You work like crazy, and people are always working around you, and they're always working to get to where they need to be, because you're working with unions, you're working with contractors, you're working with subcontractors, you got people from the state involved, people from the city involved. If you got, it's a federal job also. There's so much invested in it. It's a big job. But I'm gonna get moving to where I was gonna go. After that, what ended up happening was I ended up working for this company, and I was seeing my fruits actually bear. Like, they're growing in front of me. I'm moving up the ranks. I become a superintendent. I got people. I'm telling you, I'm not even kidding you now. I had over 35 people working under me. Like, and I'm a 24, 25-year-old kid. 24, 25. This is 5 years ago or 6 years ago. I'm 30 years old now. And I'm just like, wow, like, oh my God. Like, of course, I'm going to feel a certain way about myself. I'm like, look at me. I got these grown men listening to this kid, and I'm an engineer. I'm big shit here, Everything was great and everything. People knew me. People in the company, they knew. They're like, Muhammad gets the work done. That's what I was doing. I'm like, I'm gonna get the work done so I could build my reputation. So, I could build my stepping stones so I could get to where I want to be as a consultant one day and have my own business. And, that's it. So eventually a man came by. His name was Mike. I'll never forget this guy, Mike. Mike was a guy from corporate, and this guy was like, he was something else. Like, he's there to get rid of someone. We had issues on the job. There were some problems going on, but they needed to get rid of somebody. And there was a moment I remember he took a liking to me. We used to go out together to to different jobs, and he was like, I like you, Muhammad, you're a good guy. I want you to come work for me. And he's telling me, he's like, I'm gonna be your supervisor eventually, and all this stuff. And I'm just like, wow, I'm impressing this guy from corporate. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling amazing, Like, I didn't feel like, anything could go wrong at this point in my life. I got my career together. I'm making good money. You know what I mean? I have respect from everybody. I'm feeling good. Like, I'm feeling all, top notch right now. But the whole story didn't stop there. Mike starts, he takes me places. He gets me to drive him to places, to go see different job sites and this and that. And he's promising me all these things, and eventually this is what ends up it gets interesting. He's just working with me, and he tells me one day, he's like, Muhammad, I don't like how these guys treat you on the job site. They don't treat you so well. He's like, they don't treat you that well. And I was just like, yeah, I know, what can you do kind of thing. Or, obviously I can't do much, just me versus whoever's around me.